Good morning, students. I hope you people are reading your previous notes which I have sent. And in our previous class, what you have done, we have discussed about Christianity. And in that, we learnt about how Christianity has grown and how it has expanded and what are the sects in the Christianity and all those things. What we'll do today, we will learn about Islam in this particular class. Okay. Uh, as we are aware, Christianity and Islam, these are the two major religions in the world, and these two religions are known as Semitic religions, the religions which have got born in a Middle East part. Okay, particularly in this class, we will try to learn about Islam. Islam, the religion which is originated in Arabia, that is the Saudi Arabia. Arabia is a peninsula of West Asia. This particular West Asian part is a part of Middle East, and here in this particular map we can say this is the Asia, and this particular western part we name it as the Middle East. Here we are having the Saudi Arabia. This part is Saudi Arabia, and this particular Saudi Arabia, it is basically a desert land. The deserts which are not suitable for the agriculture purpose, and where we will see a lot of scarcity of water. So what happened, these Arabs, the people of Saudi Arabia, they migrated in their country itself. They migrated towards the places which are good for the agriculture and where they can avail the water. Okay. So such places which they found are Makkah and Medina from the Saudi Arabia itself. In the beginning, what happened? These Arabs, the people of Saudi or Arabia, they worshipped the nature god. Okay, like they worshipped stones, trees, water streams as a god. Kaaba was considered to be one of the most important religious places. Okay, so this is the Kaaba, which is in Mecca, in Saudi Arabia. Next, what we'll do, we will try to learn about life of Muhammad Paigamba. The Muhammad Paigamba was born in 570 CE at Makkah, that is Saudi Arabia, and his parents were Abdullah and Amina. He lost his parents during his childhood and was brought up by his uncle. He was shepherd in the beginning and later started visiting to Mecca and Syria for the business purposes. So what happened, when he was a child, he lost his parents, and he was brought by the uncle. Okay, and initially he worked as a shepherd, and later when he grown up, he started doing the business. Okay, yeah, during business, he started to visit Mecca, Syria, and these places. So in Mecca, he was introduced to a rich widow by name Khadija and was employed by her. Later, he married her. They had two sons and four daughters. So, during his business visit to Mecca, he introduced to the Khadija. She was also doing a business. So, what happened, by seeing the uh, loyalty, decentness towards the business, and by seeing his efforts in the business, Khadija, she has employed Muhammad Paigamba under her, and later uh, Muhammad Paigamba married Khadija, and with the result, they had two sons and four daughters. When Muhammad traveled to different places for textile business, he came across the principles of Christian and Jewish religions. So he started meditating deeply for long hours on Mount Hira to find remedies for the social and cultural shortcomings of Arab people. So during his business visits, he has visited many of the Arab and neighboring countries like Syria and those things. When he has visited those places, what has happened? Uh, he has he came to know about the principles of Christian and Jewish. So what he has done, he has started to find out the reasons for social cultural shortcomings of Arab people. So to find out the answers to those, he has started to meditate, okay, on the Mount Hira. Okay, so this is the Mount Hira where there is one cave. In this cave, Muhammad Paigamba supposed to sit for a longer period and he's supposed to meditate to know the social and cultural shortcomings of Arab people. After Paigamba achieved enlightenment, okay, as a result of his meditation, he got enlightenment, okay, uh, on this Mount Hira. So, after his enlightenment, he was called as a messenger of the God by the people. Soon, his principles became very popular among the people, and many became his disciples. When he was in a deep meditation, he used to share his messages to his disciples. Okay. The knowledge what he supposed to gain from that particular meditation, okay, he's supposed to transfer to his disciples. Those disciples, what they have started, they started to collect these uh, messages of Muhammad Paigambar, and they have compiled it and made the Quran. Okay, Quran, this is the holiest book for the Islam religion today. Okay. So where Muhammad Paigambar has given a lot of messages, okay, messages from the knowledge which he has gained through the meditation. So later what happened, Muhammad Paigambar started preaching his principles in Mecca to those people. When Paigambar opposed this polytheism strongly, okay, polytheism, worship of more than one god. Okay, so what Muhammad Paigambar believed is there is only one God. Okay, so before his teachings, there was a polytheism in the Saudi Arabia. They're supposed to worship to the many gods, water streams, nature gods, that and this. So he opposed that strongly. So what happens due to that? The enraged people of Mecca conspired to murder him. Okay, conspired. They, the people of Mecca, they made secret plans to murder Muhammad Paigamba. By knowing this, Muhammad Paigamba traveled from Mecca to Medina. When became aware of this in 622 CE. This incident is known as Hijra. Okay. And this Hijri era is the initial, okay, beginning of the calendar, okay, Islamic calendar. The people of Medina welcomed him and followed his principles. Okay, the people of Medina, okay, when Muhammad Paigambar traveled from Makkah to Medina, the people of Medina, what they have done, they have welcomed Muhammad Paigambar with open-heartedly, and they have uh, started to follow the principles of Muhammad Paigambar in Medina. After 8 years, there was a war between Mecca and Medina again, between Mecca and Medina, and the people of Medina defeated the people of Mecca. Okay, so by this incident, okay, Paigamba came back to the Mecca again. The people of Mecca again started to accept his teachings, and finally they became the followers of this particular Islam religion. Uh, Propagated by the Paigamba, gradually his principles spread all over the Arab region. Okay. And finally, Muhammad Paigamba died in 632 CE. So next what we'll do, we will try to learn the teachings of Islam. Islam means submission of oneself before the God, and Muslims the follower of God. The teachings of Islam are given below. First teaching is God is one. Muhammad Paigambar believed that there is only one God, and a simple prayer is enough to win the heart of the God. That is the first teaching. Second teaching is one should lead an honest and principled life and should keep away from the all bad habits. Second teaching is one should be honest and they should live the principled life. They should follow the principles which are going to be accepted by the society, and one should keep away from the bad habits like drinking alcohol, and what I can give the example, smoking, and telling lies. All these are bad habits. Okay, one should keep away from these all bad habits. That is the second teaching of Muhammad Paigamba. And when we come to the third teaching is one should have the respect for a woman. Okay, our society, we have in our society we have to respect the woman. And second, after this thing, one should have the compassion for the poor and weak. Okay, the people, we should have the compassion for helping the poor and the weaker section of this society. Yeah. So these are the three teachings of Islam. Then we will move to the next, rituals of Islam. Okay, Islam follows five important rituals. Those are kalima, namaz, roza, zakat, and hajj. Kalima, okay, when I come to the first ritual, kalima, it is believe in only Allah. Believe only in Allah. Muhammad, Muhammad is his prophet. Okay, kalima is the follower of Islam. They should believe in only one God, that is the Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. Okay, a prophet in Islam are the individuals who are sent by the God to various communities in order to serve as the example of ideal human behavior and spread God's messages on the earth. Okay, so what Kalima tells, the follower of Islam, they should believe in only Allah, and Muhammad Paigambar is the ideal man who have been sent by the God, and we should follow the way of Muhammad Paigambar. A second ritual is namaz. The follower of Islam, they have to do the prayer for the Allah for 5 times in a day. And third ritual is roza. This roza, it is the fasting in the month of Ramadan. Okay, every year Ramzan, there is this 1 month, the follower of Islam's, what will they will do, they will do the fasting. Okay, whole day they will not eat a food and they will not drink the beverages and all these things. Fourth one is zakat. Okay, so zakat, it is donation. Okay, we should donate our earning. Okay, some part of our earning we should donate to the poor and needy people. That is the zakat. And fifth ritual is hajj, pilgrimage to Mecca once in lifetime. The people who born in the Islam religion, they should be towards the Mecca once in their lifetime. Okay, so that is the fifth ritual where Islam people follow. Next, what we'll do, we will try to highlight on the expansion of Islam, how Islam has grown and spread across the world today. After the death of Muhammad Paigambar, the caliphs took over the responsibility of promoting Islam. The caliphs are known as the successors of Paigambar. Uh, so these four were the caliphs: Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali. These four caliphs took the responsibility of spreading Islam religion to the world. Okay, after the death of Muhammad Paigambar, and uh, With the sincere efforts of caliphs, Islam spread from Spain to India within a century. The reasons for such fast growth are simplicity of Islam. Islam teaches very simple life. That's why it got succeeded in the expansion throughout the world. Second reason is efforts of caliphs to spread Islam. Okay, as we know that these caliphs after Muhammad Paigambar, these guys took the responsibility of spreading. So Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, they have took a lot of efforts to spread this Islam throughout the world. And devotion of Muslim, okay, the devotion of Muslim followers, okay, their devotion, it has also spread in the expansion and religious interest of the sultans. This is also major part. Okay, these sultans where they were ruling major different parts of the world, and they have took interest in the Islam, and they have made this expansion of Islam in their territories. And conducive political situation. Okay, there was a possible political situation where one can spread this Islam to the world. So in that particular, by using that particular good situation, they have succeeded in spreading Islam to the world. Next, what we will do, the contributions of Islam we will learn. Okay, uh, for the society, what is the contribution given by the Islam religion? So first contribution is the people of Islam, particularly Arabs, they have given a lot of contribution in the medicine. Okay, and they have written a lot of books on the medicine. To name few, Abu Bakr Razi, the father of Arab medicine, the founder of modern chemistry, he has given a lot of contribution to the medicine field. And Ibn Sina, that is also one of the good contribution to the medicine by the Islam community. Then second contribution is new inventions in science and mathematics has happened by these Islam people. Like they have introduced the hand soap, and glass bottle manufacturing they have introduced to the world. Then generating wind factories, that is the contribution of Islam. And uh, sulfur theory, okay, mercury sulfur theory has been introduced by Jabir. Okay, so that is also one of the contribution of the Islam. Then algorithm is the contribution of Islam. Algebra is the contribution of Islam. And paper production, paper mills, that is also the contribution of Islam to the world. Then third, they have given a lot of uh, contribution in the geography and astronomy field. Again, Islam influenced the art and architecture. Okay, the features of Islamic architecture can be seen in the buildings of built in the Roman and other parts of the Persian Empire. So in our India also we can say the Islamic architecture style buildings. Okay, where we as a Indians, we say proudly we are having one of the world wonder, where Taj Mahal is our world wonder. And this Taj Mahal, it attracts uh, millions of tourists every year because of its beauty. Okay, built in white marble. And yeah, this particular Taj Mahal, it is in Islamic architecture, where you can see the Islamic architecture feature like dome, minars, arches. Okay, these are few architectural features of Islam. So this thing, okay, in our Gulbarga, when you come to the Gulbarga, we are having dominar and these domes in the Juma Masjid. Okay, in the fort, Gulbarga fort, we can see the Juma Masjid. At the top of Juma Masjid, you can see the domes, okay, a lot of domes. So these are the Islamic art and architecture, that is the contribution of Islam to the society. Then okay, at last there are okay, what we'll do, we'll learn about the sects, pangadgal, sects in Islam. Okay, like in other religions, many sects can be found in Islam. The most important among them are Shia and Sunni. Okay, Shia and Sunni, these two sects are very popular. And okay, so Shia and Sunni, okay, when you, okay, Sunni, 90% of the Muslims population in the world, that is the uh, Sunni, and Sunni people, they follow the customs of Muhammad, and Sunni people, they believe that leadership should be based on the community of Muslim. And when you come to the Shia, only 10% of Muslims belongs to the Shia community, and here Shia people follow the customs of Ali, okay, Muhammad's relative, okay, who was one of the caliph, okay, and believe that Ali is the this Shia people believe that Ali is the new leadership of the Islam and should be followed. Then now, okay, if you see in the Middle East part, okay, there are few uh, misunderstanding between Shia and Sunni. Always there will be contributions among those two community, and finally, what one should not forget is Islam means peace. Okay, there is peace in their religion name itself. Okay, so this was about Islam. Uh, in short, a summary what we have discussed today in this particular class is, we have discussed on the origin of Islam, how Muhammad Paigamba has started this Islam religion, life of Muhammad Paigamba, okay, how he has brought up, and how he has worked as the shepherd, and how he entered into the business life, and how he uh, how he come in the contact of Khadija, and how he has married to Khadija, and later how he started to meditating, and he got enlightenment and started to uh, give the preachings of those things. Okay, after that we learned about the teachings of Islam. Okay, there are three teachings we have learned. Okay, God is one and all those things. After that we have learned about the rituals of Islam. There are five rituals. Okay, so we have highlighted on that, and finally we have discussed about the contributions of Islam to the society. Then sects in Islam, okay, we come to know that uh, these two sects, okay, Shia and Sunni, are the two sects in the Islam, and we have learned about that thing. Okay, how Shia is different from the Sunni, that we have learned. Okay, so by this I conclude a class on this particular Islam, and what if you are having any doubts, questions to ask me, please type in your WhatsApp groups. Okay, I will happy to answer those your doubts and questions. Okay. So till then, take care. Bye bye.